What's up, gamers? So I recently picked up the Asus ROG Ally for all of my handheld gaming needs, and I've been pleasantly surprised with how much power you get in such a portable package right here. And I've been using it for handheld gaming on the couch and on the go, and I've even used it as a gaming slash workstation PC while it's on its dock back there on my desk. So I find myself using this device probably more than my extremely powerful gaming PCs back there behind me in the last 3 months of my life, just because of this thing's sheer portability and its ability to play almost any title I throw at it. Now, I'm aware that there are other options that are really good out there just like this, and there's more even coming out. So this begs the question, should you still purchase an ROG Ally in 2024 or wait for a new device that's coming out in the future? And could this possibly be, for the money, one of the best budget gaming PCs that you can buy depending on what you're looking for? Well, speaking of things coming out and making choices, let's talk about today's sponsor, Ugreen. Today's video is brought to you by Ugreen and their brand new NAS Sync line of network attached storage systems. They have NAS systems for all of your needs, including 2-bay, 4-bay, 6-bay, 8-bay, and even all flash-based storage solutions. With Ugreen's NAS Sync solutions, you'll be able to enjoy remote access to your files from anywhere. You can store and share thousands of videos, photos, and files, and create a home media library to stream your music or play movies to your phone, tablet, PC, and even your TV. NAS Sync solutions are equipped with 12th gen Intel Core i5 processors, an expandable 8 gigs of DDR5 RAM, dual M.2 SSD slots for fast caching, and up to 184 terabytes of storage space. Other features include dual 10 gigabit network ports, dual Thunderbolt 4 ports, an all-exclusive mobile app, professional data security, and an integrated smart assistant.
Ugreen is launching this new line of product via Kickstarter, and you can be part of the launch as well and receive 40% off of your chosen product by pledging a $5 deposit via the website. Check the link in the description to learn more.
Okay, a little backstory on why a guy like me who has a very powerful gaming PC already decided to get a handheld like the ROG Ally. But first, if you enjoy what I do here on this channel, be sure to go ahead and like this video, and if you want to see more tech videos similar to this, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss my future uploads. Anyway, I recently became a father of 2 more children, bringing the total to 3 children for my wife and I. And to be honest, I really haven't had any time to go to my gaming room down here and simply enjoy gaming like I used to. Now, when I'm able to game, it usually is only for like a short spurt of time, and then I have to go up and help my wife with the kids again, naturally, you know, it's kind of what happens when you're a father. So, being that this little guy is a portable powerhouse, it has changed the way I game and brought me back to a time where something like this over here was what I basically grabbed every time I wanted to do some gaming back in the day. Now, I want to make this clear, this isn't a review per se of the ROG Ally. There are plenty of those out there already on YouTube, and you can watch those if you want, but this is just my experience with it as a PC gamer and the way I use it, as well as some accessories that I'll suggest for you guys if you're looking for those as well. So at its core here, the ROG Ally is basically just a handheld Windows gaming PC with a touchscreen. So for me, there was really zero learning curve other than getting used to playing with a handheld gaming system again. Now, on that note, let me go ahead and explain which model of this thing I bought, because there actually are 2 of them that you can get, and I have my opinions on it, so I'm gonna share that with you. So the cheaper version of this guy comes with an AMD Ryzen Z1 processor and costs around $400. Now, the more expensive option, which you see right here, that comes with the AMD Z1 Extreme processor, this thing retails for around $600. Both versions of the Ally come equipped with a 1080p IPS touchscreen display with 120 Hz refresh rate and 500 nits of brightness, which looks really great. Both versions also come with 16 gigs of DDR5 memory and a 512 gig NVMe SSD, which I actually upgraded right away, and I will show you how I did that later in the video. Now, every other feature is exactly the same on both models, so if you're considering doing this, which one should you buy? In my opinion, the version with the non-extreme Z1 is a very weird option, because every other spec in the system is exactly the same, like I said, but it just has a worse processor and integrated GPU, making it a less capable budget PC option, in my opinion. So if you're playing less demanding titles, I can see this being of value to you, but if you want something that's capable of playing AAA gaming on the go, this guy right here with the Z1 Extreme processor is the one to go with, because the GPU in it is much better. Okay, now tech specs and stuff out of the way, let's talk about how I use this little guy and why I think it's an excellent option for budget gamers out there. The one main thing that makes this device special versus trying to build a budget PC tower for around like $500 to $600 is its portability. I can basically take this guy anywhere with me so I can game wherever and whenever I want. Something I'm definitely not able to do with my high-end gaming systems back there because they're huge. I actually used to sit in my living room with my laptop on a table right in front of me so I could watch TV with my wife and game at the same time, which was a pain, and there's just a lot of stuff to be there. But now, the Ally has solved that problem, and I can just kind of sit on the couch and game and do whatever I want on this thing while also watching TV and hanging out with my wife too. Other than portability, I also want to point out the looks of this device. I gotta say, I'm pretty surprised at how much I dig the look and the feel of this thing in the hands. The button layout is very comfortable, and I'm able to sit down with it and game for quite a long time before I ever feel any kind of fatigue in my hands or anything like that. I also really enjoy the touchscreen on it and the way you interface with the device. It's basically the same as any Windows PC, like I said, so it's very familiar to me already, but if I want that console-like experience, I just use Steam Big Picture Mode or the Asus Armory Crate app to quickly launch my games and get right into the fun whenever I want to game. Now, not everything is sunshine and rainbows with this device because the one main con of this device, and it's a big one, is the battery life. So you're able to get about a solid hour, a little bit more on it depending on what wattage settings you're gaming with. But unfortunately, the battery does not allow you to go much longer than that without having to plug the device in, depending on what game you're playing, of course. But don't worry, I actually found a simple fix for this, and I'll tell you about that later, so you can get a little bit more battery life when you're traveling or running around with this thing. Now, speaking of gaming with this thing, let's talk about what I've been playing on this device and how the experience is. So, the game I've probably been playing the most is Diablo 2 Resurrected. I absolutely love this game. I've been playing Diablo 2 forever, and it looks fantastic on the Ally at 1080p, like medium-high settings, and I'm able to easily maintain over 60 FPS for some very smooth gameplay. Now, since getting this device, I've also been replaying all of the old GTA remastered games, starting from 3, going up to Vice City, San Andreas, and so on. And these remastered games are actually pretty demanding. They're not like the PS2 version, like these are like the new ones with new shaders and all sorts of crazy stuff in them. So with a mix of settings, I can still achieve a 60 FPS at 1080p on this guy, which is super enjoyable for me, and I actually love playing those games. They're so fun. And lastly, I'll tell you about one more game that I got into recently that many of you may know, and that's Pal World. I had no idea I would love this game so much, but thanks to the Ally and my ability to just basically sit on the couch and play around with it, I discovered that this game is actually really fun. Surprisingly, this game can be super demanding, but after looking up some tweaks and settings on like one of the message boards about the ROG Ally, I was able to go ahead and quickly switch between resolutions and get some really good settings in this thing to make it look fantastic and make the game run really smooth as well. So that one works really well on the Ally as well. And speaking of tons of games, it's a great segue into talking about emulation. Now I'm going to quickly touch on this, but the Ally does this really well, and if you want to get into the world of emulation, a handheld like this is absolutely fantastic for it. So I got EmuDeck up and running on this thing, and I can now play all of my old PlayStation 2, Xbox, and many other console games right from Steam, and again, just in my hands and on the couch or wherever I may be at the time. So what a time to be alive, right? So like I said, I'm gonna just touch on that briefly in this video, but if you guys wanna see a full video on how I set up emulation on my ROG Ally, let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to do that for you. Okay, now that you have a better idea of why I personally think the Ally is such a good value for a budget gaming PC, let me go ahead and close this video by showing you some upgrades and accessories that I purchased that have made the Ally just that much better to use. And of course, guys, all the links to everything that I feature in the video here will be in the description in case you guys want to pick those up as well. The first two things that I bought for this device were a screen protector and a case. Pretty standard stuff for a touchscreen device, right? But the case that I got was actually pretty surprising. It not only looks good and feels very sleek and actually adds a little bit of weight and it makes it more grippy, but it has a little integrated kickstand on the back right here that allows you to prop it up for easy viewing at this angle right here. So I actually use this a ton when I'm watching a video and I needed to set it down like on a surface quickly in front of me. The next upgrade I did to this device right off the bat was to install a larger SSD and to install an SD card. So this device only comes with a 512 gig SSD for storage, which is pretty good, but if you plan on installing a bigger library of games, you're gonna obviously need more space. So here's what I went with. I bought a silicon powered US 75 2TB NVMe SSD to replace the stock one. Now, I know this is a larger SSD than what comes inside the Ally, so how did I make that work? Well, I use a very inexpensive expansion bracket that allows you to adapt the larger and most of the time cheaper SSDs out there. As I have it installed right there, hopefully you guys can see that with the way that my lighting's going. There you go. So yeah, kind of just takes the place and it fits in there very, very snug and flush. And it looks really good. There's nothing for it to screw into right there. So I kind of just took the screw out. That way it doesn't, there is a plug right here. I'm not sure really what that goes to. Some of you guys in the comments could probably tell me. But I don't want anything damaging that, so I just took the screw out. The screw that you actually need screwed in is right here. So I took the screw from here and I'm gonna put it over here. And well, actually you can use the stock one too that you had. I'm gonna screw this down really quick to make sure that our bracket is secure. And then we can go ahead and slot in our SSD, our new SSD, as a matter of fact. And as you can see, it goes down and installs exactly where it should be. There's a tad bit of, I noticed because this guy right here, there's a tad little bit of bend in the bracket, but it sits in there super flush, you guys. Like, it looks like it's made for this. Obviously, whoever made this whole thing did it correctly. So then you just go ahead and take your SSD right here, your longer SSD. You guys are probably yelling at me like, oh, it's a certain number. I just honestly can't remember what the difference in the numbers are between the small ones and these longer ones. One of you is gonna flame me in the comments. Look, here's the little guy, here's the big guy. And then we can go ahead and use the screw that came with the bracket here to screw down our SSD. But be careful, guys, because there is some, on our Ally, there is a bracket underneath here. So be careful you don't like screw into it. So it looks nice and flush. Like, it looks like it's gonna work just fine. Only time will tell, but for right now, we got our new SSD installed. Everything looks good. Now I also picked up a 1 terabyte SD card for further expandable storage. Now, I do know that these things are known to basically, you know, catch on fire on the SD port, but mine has luckily been rock solid and I haven't had any issues with it. And I use this card to store all of my emulator data and games so they don't take up space on my main SSD. The next thing I bought for this is a docking station. So this is essentially what takes the Ally from just a handheld and gives you the ability to turn it into a full desktop gaming PC workstation type thing. So the one I bought from Ivanki has a PD power port that delivers the needed wattage for the Ally for it to be able to run and charge, and then 3 extra USB ports for hard drives, peripherals, or whatever you want, and a full-size HDMI port that will pass a 1080p 120Hz signal to an external monitor. And how do I know this? Well, the next accessory I'd suggest for you is a portable monitor, because I already have one. I reviewed one on the channel not too long ago from UPerfect, and it is an IPS 1080p 120Hz external monitor that pairs wonderfully with the ROG Ally. It gives you the ability to run dual screens for work, and all of your games can play on a larger screen when the device is docked, and you don't need it to be portable anymore, and it will go up to those 120 Hz that you want for ultra smooth gameplay. Now, I keep talking about this device's portability in this video, and I talked about how bad of battery life it did have. So how did I solve that problem when you're like running low on battery and you're out and about? Well, yes, you can plug it into an outlet if you can find one, but when you don't have an access to an outlet, this is where a power bank comes in. So the one I picked up was the 737 from Anker. I actually got it on a deal on Amazon, and it's a 24,000 mAh charger with 140 watts of output, which means you're able to keep the Ally charged and also game at the same time while this is plugged in. And with this large capacity, it'll actually give you a couple more hours of juice, so you're charged on those long flights or trips in the car, you know, when you're the passenger, of course. Don't do this while you're driving, guys, come on. Well, anyway, guys, that is the ROG Ally in a nutshell, and why I think it's one of the best options out there for people looking to get a budget gaming PC in 2024, but you still want to be portable with it. So there was a time when I would only suggest you guys building like a $500 to $600 gaming rig, or simply just going out there and buying the cheapest Xbox out there. But now that devices like this are coming into the mainstream, you would be a fool to not give them a look and give them a try. So, and if you're worried about the price tag I mentioned at the beginning, just know that I did get this copy from Best Buy in an open box deal for just about $500. And you can do this all the time. They're always available. So they're always in stock too. And a lot of people will say that, oh, I won't do that because they're worried about the SD card port, but I got lucky and mine's fine, and maybe you will too. And they do come with a warranty as well. So yeah, I gotta say, after giving this thing a try, it might be the best option for a budget gaming PC out there right now. So anyway, that's it. You guys have an awesome day, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.